Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box with the Technical Trader at TechTrader.com. It's Tuesday, December the 6th, and these are the charts of the day. Well, I'm not going to go over the indices. We have a lot of stocks to cover, but I will tell you that the market had a really pretty darn good day today. S&P much better than the NDX, but I'll take it. With the Dow and S&P making new all-time highs, or the S&P actually a couple points away, pretty close. So we had a lot of other indices doing very well, etc. Let's take a quick look at the stocks that I have in mind for today. Now I want to discuss with you stocks that seem to be breaking out or moving dramatically. Look, AMD's been, and the whole semiconductor group looks great, but AMD in particular is one that we've had as a swing trade for a while, and recently put a new one on when it broke out. It subsequently has moved almost 2 points. Looks like my first target at 10, and then potentially 12 and a half, 13. Maybe had short term if this keeps up. Look at the volume today, 92 million shares on an update. Beautiful. And up next is aviation. Now, some of these foreign airlines, Avianca is obviously I believe a South American airline. Peru, I don't know if it's Peru or whatever, but it's an airline that has been moving up in nice stair steps. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, what I'm saying, what I'm looking at, is that this entire consolidation range since June was broken out with a breakaway gap of $1.25 or 17.5% on 833,000. And that's the second biggest volume since October of 2015. So we're looking at a potential move into that zone between 10 and 11 short term. Keep an eye on this one. How about that blue? Fantastic. Ever since it popped and pulled back, we gave you a buy on it. It's now moved about 13 points and continues to look great. My target's at 85 and 95. Don't seem that far-fetched now, do they? This is one terrific looking overall base breakout. Steep pullback when the biotechs got hit, but it held support and ran right back up again, consolidated. But look, notice the last 4 days here before the move, right at that 50-day moving average, even with the 2 down days, refused to break down. That was a good sign it was going higher. Stay tuned, this could get interesting. 6.24 days to cover. Cavium, well spotted by markets today. A really nice move. Look at the long-term chart, and you can see that for a year the stock was in the downtrend. Double bottom at 36, ran up sharply into the high 50s, and then consolidated for 3 months. Well, today was the big day as the stock exploded from 57 to 62 and change, and closed at the upper end of the range. Now there is some resistance going all the way back in that zone, but I really think the level that we want to look at is going to be upwards of 68 and then 74, even though there is some resistance short term at 64. With 8.24 days to cover, 8.21, this may very well get that extension rather shortly. Let's keep an eye on this one. Swing trade Clovis acted great. As you know, I was looking at this. Someone asked me, why'd you recommend this? Basically, it's simple. The stock has been in a beautiful pattern with you can see the consolidation wedge type pattern here. Got a little narrower and popped today. And that pop was significant because it ran up to 40, 30, close 39, 48, up to 24, 6% on a good volume. Best volume in about 3 weeks, particularly on an up day. Now, I'm looking at the 40.29 level from mid-September, and today's high right there. So we backed off a little bit, but if we get through, I'm looking for mid-40s. And then I think we're looking at mid-50s. With the biotechs running, you may see a big move in blue and Clovis. I think they're kind of running together. But they both look pretty darn good here. It's 5.5 days to cover on Clovis. Retailer Cons had a good report. The flag was broken. The stock popped $1, almost 9% on 2.4 million. That's the biggest volume in 6 weeks. More like 8 weeks. Resistance in here. So if we can get this in here, we have a shot at taking that and running right up into the next resistance zone here, just under 16. So from 12.25 to 15, 3/4, 16, maybe a nice move short term. Keep an eye on this one with 10.3 days to cover. And how about Deutsche Bank today? I know that some of us were looking at it short as recently as September, but boy, has this reversed itself. Double bottom, huge volume off the low. I think that the big volume here, 70 million shares on that breakaway gap, is what triggered this entire move. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I caution everybody to be careful at this level and not to chase this bank. The reason I say that, not only is it European, and there may be some problems there, but when you look at the 5 waves up in a perfect channel, obviously there may be some extension towards 19, 20, 21, but at this point, be very careful up here, because even though the head and shoulder pattern was broken and then that nice pullback consolidation retested the neckline, we've had 5 waves. So 5 waves may very well turn into a consolidation, or we may get some follow through And that follow through could very well test this zone right there. I would have to say, looking for 2021 next. How about that EXEL? 1825 up another 42 cents, and that's the highest close that we've seen in Excel going way back. How long? If you believe the highest close since 2001, it's 15 years. Now, obviously, back in 2000, everything was flying, but this is a darn good resistance zone up around 19 and a quarter. So we're getting there, but I think that with this kind of momentum, 3 days to cover, rising flag, this is going to spike towards 22, 23. Remaining my swing trade target. FRAN, well, Francesca's Holdings, which is a apparel store chain, had a great report today, ran sharply. Look at the large inverse head and shoulder type pattern, or we just went through the neckline. My target is 22.5 going forward. I'll just have to see now that we've taken out the declining tops line, this line here, that we get an extension potential up towards 22 with 6.78 days to cover. Swing trade Chem is really rocking it. The biggest volume I've ever seen in the stock today on an up day, as it spiked out of the rising wedge. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth wave is well underway. I think my target was about 6 3/4, and we're probably very close to that now. Ultimately, though, we could see an $8 stock or even 10 going forward. Nearly 10 days to cover short too. Little Copen woke up today. I like this one, folks. The major declining top line broken with the thrust on a pickup in volume. This stock was literally up for 12 days in a row, if you remember. And then it came back very, very orderly. Look at the 20-day moving average. Low volume ebb near the bottom, an inside day, and then today was the pop. I think we broke out today. I'm looking to see if we take out 288. If we do, we're headed to 330.40 and maybe even 3 3/4. Ultimately, I believe this is a $5 stock. KRNT also popped and broke out of this beautiful wedge today. I pick up in volume now. It isn't anything but a thin stock, but today's volume in the last 2 days, we've traded about 640,000 shares. That's pretty big volume for that stock. Breaking it out and running it. There is resistance right there, so if it pulls back to consolidate, don't be surprised. However, my next target, 15.5 3/4. Almost 18 days to cover. This one could run. NVCN. Now, folks, anytime a stock trades 108 million shares on an up day, you got to be wary about it being a blow off top. It's up against resistance. It's run from 50 cents to 334 in 3 sessions. I would caution everyone to be very careful with this. We could see easily a pullback towards this area, anywhere between, let's call it $1.50, 60. I wouldn't be shocked to see that, or it sets up nicely. We'll see what happens. NVIDIA, another $1.51. You can see resistance. It needs to get to 95 1/4. Short-term target, yeah, 102.3. What a great looking chart. Still one of my 2 or 3 favorites of the year. OPK. Now, this is a massive base pattern going back more than a year. And you can see that it popped up across this double top and closed right there. This may very quickly, maybe even tomorrow, test 1185. And my secondary target is about 13, 13 1/4. My third level is 15. If volume picks up dramatically, and today's volume of 6.6 million was huge, this could explode. And the reason I say that is 20 days to cover short. Pot. Well, pot is a little sticky in here. It got up to resistance, backed off, trading at 1872. It was only up 7 cents, and the volume wasn't big. So I'm going to need to see it blow through this base pattern and run. My secondary target is 22.5, and that's what I'm looking for in this one. Sage Software. I'm sorry, Biotech, Sage, just another Sage. This stock ran up into a resistance zone, and I'm looking on a short-term basis for this to test 62.3 range. Maybe get it very quickly. Notice the breakout of the wedge and a breakaway gap today with a pickup in volume to 1.4 million. If anywhere nearly duplicates that level, this could be 65.70. For now, though, let's test and see if we can get up anywhere near this mid-60s. Tex, one of our swing trades. Nice pop today. It may have come out of the wedge it was forming. But I picked up a little, 1.4 million, almost 1.5 million. More importantly, it's up $1.25 or 4.2%. Keep an eye on 31.44. We get through that, we could very well see 34. We may get an intermediate move up towards 38. This is acting well. Retailer Tilly's is really, really acting well. After the big run in August and then the couple month consolidation, there's your breakaway gap last week. Run up to resistance, pullback, and today snapping right back 79 cents or almost 6%. Volume was a little lower than normal, so we may see this continue to consolidate, but my next target is just under 17. TXMD had a big day. Remember the big reversal in November and then the explosive move taking it from 440 to 750. There's resistance right up in that zone and then it backed off quickly. But it held on the pullback on kind of a right-hand extended V, 0.618 fib retracement. Today was the big day as it traded 28 million shares and may have completed a right-handed extended V pattern if it gets to this neckline, and we're right there. My targets are going to be 8.25 and then 9.25 half, eventually more than that. 18.86 days to cover. This one looks excellent as well. Swing trade Western Digital not only looked good today intraday on an inside day where it was up $1.75. Look at after hours. Great report. Blew out from 63.75 all the way up to 68 and backed off to consolidate. After hours forming a nice bull coil. In either case, looking like it wants to go higher. There's some resistance at around 69, 9.25. So we may see that as early as tomorrow morning. And that would be my potential day trade if it gets up there. We shall see. How about that Winnebago? Acting very well. After the big explosive breakaway gap and the three-wave corrected pullback to the 50, it formed a new rising channel. Now the rising channel indicates the possibility of a parallel channel in this, in this angle. But this may very well accelerate. I'd be looking for a quick move to 38 and then 40, 41. Those are my targets in Winnebago. 13.6 days to cover. U.S. Steel. Every time I look at this, I'm upset I didn't give you a swing. I've been talking 38.40 all along since the stock was 25.27. And here it is, 35.95. Just pennies off the highest move it's had in years. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move. So on the next spike up towards 40, 42, something like that, I'd be a seller. I think the stock needs to come down. But eventually 45 and even 60 wouldn't shock me, especially with the steel stocks back in vogue based on Trump's comments on steel and rebuilding. Infrastructure play. Zencor, strong biotech. Remember a swing we gave you here when it was in July. Well, it popped, wedged again, popped, and then had a 5-way move which caused this pullback, along with the biotech move, of course. But the parallel channel says this is a $33 stock coming up. Looking good, 7.6 days to cover. And lastly is Zyme, snapping back today, $1.28 or almost 10%. The volume wasn't big, but it's big enough, and biggest volume in 2 weeks. It looks like with this close that we could get the stock to make a move towards that 18 range, and that's my next target. With 6.4 days to cover, we could get that squeeze. And that's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening. Let's make some money tomorrow.